boys don't have it. It's on, it's on.
Yeah.
Oh, California's pretty deep this year.
Jordan's in the house.
4 adjectives that describe
Come
him.
on.
Tenacious,
Get up.
courageous, dependable,
We're sitting here like
conscientious.
this again.
Everybody,
Talking about what
I want you to
should have
introduce
been. You
Dr.
roll your eyes
Jordan
if you just don't
B.
care. Let's get the
Smith.
check 'cause I'm right here. You won't change, I won't change. And everything remains the same. And I won't play this losing game. 'Cause that's what love goes down the drain. Oh, come compromise. Let me give you just a little
I think I've
advice.
arrived.
Love wears such a thin disguise.
You know,
It should
see, I gotta take
come
70 years and put them down to like 10 minutes or so. But I always wanted to be in a nightclub where everybody just gonna say, yeah. What y'all do? Yeah for me. All right. So I promise you, I may not teach, but in between the Marine Corps, I was a DJ. Okay. Then I woke up and lost my mind and decided to teach math to high school students. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take you on a little trip here. I am Dr. Jordan B. Smith Jr., and I have traveled a long way to get here. And I'm going to talk to you about why teacher leaders like me matter and why they're so important. See, I took a round trip from a place not too far away from here. But the truth is, the role of the teacher and the best leaders are the teacher. I am a teacher leader, I am a doctor, and I am still in the classroom. Yeah, that's me. All right, doesn't I look cute there? Yeah, but do you know what I'm up here thinking? I'm up here looking at him, I'm seeing that white beard. Now, my mom said he's gonna give me something, okay? But I'm really wondering whether or not he's gonna let go of my hand. So he's got a tight grip there. But yeah, time flies. And this is May 1968. This is my 8th grade class. What do y'all notice and what do y'all wonder about that? Now I tell you, I'm the good looking one in that first row. Okay. And if there's any doubt, I'm all the way over at the end, just let you know, okay? That's when I had hair. But what was so important about that picture is that it was all children of color. I went to a K through 8 school where everybody was black, the principals, the teachers, and everything. And when Martin Luther King died, okay, you got all in with the parents and they started picking out some young black male, and I was one of them. See, by the 4th grade, my parents couldn't help me with math. No, because I had a black male teacher that he was my role model. And he started having me do things like base 11, 12, 13, 14, all the way up to 20. And he would showcase me at the PTA. But see, there were a lot of things going on that I was not aware of. I didn't have social media. There was no calculators, no computers. Never heard it. Didn't know when he died, but I do know he changed my life and my parents, because one day I was sitting in a school where no blacks was going, but I was there in the back, but somebody made the mistake to say the N-word, but all the heads turned around to look at me to see what my reaction is. I had a plan. See, because of him, my parents changed their mindset. Instead of sending me to the traditional all-black school in the public school, my dad worked 2 jobs in order to make sure that I was able to go to this school. It was a prestigious school where professional football players and everything else sent their kids to. Except when I went in, there were only 6 blacks. But this is my stand and deliver moment. Because in order to get there, I had to take a test. You want to know what kind of test they gave me? They gave me a math test. Yeah, right, sure enough, they gave me a math test, but they didn't know who they were giving that test to. No, they had no idea. But just like stand and deliver, they gave me the test. I passed the test to the point that they wanted me to take the test again. Oh, yeah, I said, okay, come on. And guess what? I passed it, and then they gave us a scholarship. Okay. So, At that school, I changed minds. I changed the mindsets and everything else. I became a leader. And by that time, about 4 years later, I set history at that school. I was fast. I could run, but not from the cops, okay? But I had a 400-yard dash. National Honor Society, got a scholarship. But the best part about it, I got an appointment to the United States Naval Academy. Now, the Naval Academy is unique. 1845 it started, but unfortunately, it took 103 years to get the first African American to graduate. 103 years, okay? The only reason Wesley Brown graduated, and there now is a building named after Wesley Brown on the Academy grounds, was because of President Jimmy Carter, okay? So he spoke to him. So let me tell you about what happened when you went there. If you didn't know math, you couldn't get through those doors. But for this young man, for the 4 years he was at Annapolis, no one talked to him. No one would room with him. Nobody went anywhere with him except for Jimmy Carter. That's why he graduated from the Naval Academy. Now, in June 1972, here I am again. But I got hair. Y'all see that nice red fro? Yeah, my family used to call me Junie. Yeah, red, but I tell you, we hit the sun on that hair, it looked like it was on fire. But 200 minorities entered in Annapolis. Annapolis was going to change. In the summer of '72, I was on the drill field. The admiral told us, look to your left and look to your right. One of you won't be here. 4 years later, they were right. One of us is not there. I'm in there. I'm the guy in the middle. But can you imagine what's on my face there? I tell you, I'm up there wondering what the heck was I thinking? You want to know why? I went to the Navy. There ain't no swimming pools in Missouri back when I was growing up. I couldn't swim, but yet I went there. But you know what? I persevered. I could swim when I graduated, I tell you. December '72, I went home for that very first Christmas Eve. And my mom was at the table, and my mom made me that chicken and rice deal. And I was enjoying and sitting there, and I sat in my uniform, rigid and everything, and I said, "Sir, can you please pass the salt, sir?" My mom started crying. She said, "Oh my God, what they do to my baby? What did they do to him?" My dad slept with laughing. Oh boy, they done made him a man, okay. But in Ebony magazine, in 1975, things were changing with that group of 200 that came in. If you notice, these 4 black midshipmen are all the class officers of the class of '75. That is amazing, okay? Things were changing. And then, lasting impacts. This is me right when on induction day. Unfortunately, I have the date there, January 1975. When I went home for my junior year of college for a Christmas vacation, my mom went out to a New Year's Eve party, came back, and she complained of headaches. She had an aneurysm, and she died 5 days later. When I came back to Annapolis, they were afraid to give me my test because they felt I was having mental issues and they wanted to give me my oral exams. I had a choice then to give up, but I had a choice to do something. See, I graduated from the Naval Academy, and my brother here, 4 years later, he went to the Air Force Academy. So we both had a mission of things that we needed to do. By the spring set of 1976, we had our first black brigade commander in the history of the Naval Academy. And in June 1976, on the front cover of Jet magazine, you got Della Reese. Hey, that's Booker T. Washington down there. Oh, but guess who's up in that top page? That's me. Yeah. Now, why did I get on Jet magazine? Because I set history. I became the first African American to ever receive the rank and honor to be a color company commander at the United States Naval Academy. That's me. You can check me out on YouTube. I'm not lying. Legacy of Black Achievement. That is me carrying those colors and over there helping up. And also, United States Naval Academy black graduates. So, My dad became proud. My dad cried when he saw this because he said, I don't have the same problems as my coworkers of going and picking up their sons from jail or with drugs. All myself and my brother gave them was joy and reasons for him to be proud. I became a second lieutenant. We were proud. We're looking sharp there in those uniforms, matter of fact. I became an executive officer. I became a logistician. That's where I used my math skills. Matter of fact, for Operation Desert Shield and Desert Storm, I wrote the mobilization SOP that put the reserves overseas for the first time. Then I became a company commander of the largest company in the United States Marine Corps, 1,371 Marines. But I have an education in arms because my mom believed in education. I have an unstated rite of passage. I told you that I was at the Naval Academy and I went in the Marine Corps. How in the heck did I wind up becoming a teacher? Because what I really had a love for was helping people, changing their lives. I like to impact them. And that's what I do. I work at Mountain View Alternative Schools. I have students that come to our school, have 0 credits in math, and have given up hope on learning. And my job is one thing, is to restore them and give them hope and build their confidence. So, to make math fun and engaging, there's 2 reasons I became a teacher. First, my son was failing geometry right before Thanksgiving break. But the second reason is I had to make a decision, but I want to make math fun and easy, you know? I wanted to make math engaging. So my question is right now, what I want you to do. I know that each one of you had a why when you just started teaching. The question is, has that why changed? So what I want you to do is turn to the next person. I want you to tell that person, why are you here today? Why are you still in education? Go ahead and turn and talk. I'm going to bring you back the Marine Corps way because I'm going to bring you back with that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Marine Corps voice to be there. Turn and talk. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. There's that voice. So there's 4 steps to become a teacher leader. I'm actually out here to recruit. That's the main reason I decided. I wanted to recruit teacher leaders. So you either know someone at your school site that needs to get out of their classroom. So to become a teacher leader, first, I had to become an effective teacher in that classroom. I had to have the mindset and determination that when my students failed, I failed. I needed a mentor, and that mentor, you probably saw her when you walked through the door. She was volunteering. She was the one that got me involved with this place, and that was Karen Lee. She was the reason that I'm still teaching. I realized that we have to become a change agent, and you have to lead with passion and empathy. So my son called me back in the summer of 2015, and he said, Dad, I need you to write a book. I said, what do you mean write a book? And he said, well, if you don't write a book about what you went through at Annapolis, nobody ever is going to write it. And I remember I went to a Gettysburg leadership meeting that the district paid for, and that was the one thing that one of the generals said. If he hadn't wrote the book, nobody would know the story. But see, I used this book not to sell and make money. I used this book for me and my kids and my grandkids, and also for students that get stuck, that think that they can't do anything. Because of that, when I wrote that book, the superintendent found out about it, and then when we were on this trip, they had to pick one person to read the Gettysburg Address. I was chosen to read it. Right there on the same hollow ground. So about education, Martin Luther had it right. Intelligence plus character. Because of that, and that book, then I got chosen to do a keynote for Martin Luther King's birthday for the local college. For some reason, I was being recognized and noticed. And then I actually wrote this, and I did this because of another side moment. See, I had to face death many ways in my lifetime. As I said, I'm 70 years old. Is that in August 1990, I faced death at Desert Shield and Desert Storm as a veteran, Marine Corps, 20 years. But in June 2017, I went on a routine doctor visit with my wife, and all of a sudden the doctor with the test came back, she had stage 4 cancer. So for 2 years, I went to work and school and did other things and still had to come back and take care of my wife that was dying, that was terminal for the next 2 years, right before COVID hit on top of it. But then the reason I wrote the book is because my wife said, there were things that we went through that nobody else told us, and she said, we don't want anybody else to go through those same things. And I thought I knew everything. Yeah, I'm a math guy. You know how we are. So, but it turned out that I had to go through that. Okay, I had to go through it, and so I wrote that. And the reason is I became overconscious about cancer, and then it really hit home. In February, I got diagnosed with cancer of this year. And the only reason they caught it was because in the book, there were certain things that they told me. One was that if you were ever been a smoker, you better make sure you get a CT scan every year for 10 years after you stop smoking. No doctor told me that, okay? That's when my wife died from lung cancer. So because of that, we were able to find it. And I'm here today because now my PSA is 1.9 and I'm in remission. So when I thought I was dying, I wanted to leave something. And so the first thing I did, I wrote this book about teaching strategies. Remember, I'm in this school where these students come, they've given up on learning. What the heck was I doing to help them graduate? And the reason is I started putting those in and started collaborating, and that's why I did it. But I'm a teacher leader in the classroom. Believe it or not, I'm out of my classroom 25 days a year. But yet, when I go back to my classroom, because I'm leaving here and going to CMC, when I go back, I already know right now that my students are producing and earning credits. They actually produce more credits and stuff when I'm gone. How in the heck did I get that? Okay, so I did that. But the reason is because I believe in inclusion. I teamed together for 2 years before the pandemic with a special ed teacher where we had general education and special ed kids in the same classroom. You can walk in and you would not know. You would not know who they were. Teachers, in order to be effective, need to be these things, but the primary thing is productive and also dedication. But along that way, I realized in my classroom as a teacher that there was 12 rules that I needed to follow. The first one, it really hits home, was respect. I had to have empathy and also courage. Courage had to be essential for us to do anything. The question is, are you courageous? Do you have the courage to become a teacher leader from within the classroom or even find one? Why don't you turn and talk 30 seconds? Tell the person right next to you whether or not you got the courage to be a teacher leader. Five, 4, 3, 2, and 1. The other 6 rules: relationships, change agent. And you know, confrontations are going to happen. You just got to know how to deal with that. But the last rule, never stop learning. Never, ever stop learning. So these are the things that I've done outside, and I just put those up there just to let you know my path. I used to be a teacher in the classroom that only dealt with my students. Never went anywhere else, no PD or anything. But as a result, my spirit has grown. The one thing I really like, I graduated from Annapolis. I'm on the Service Academy selection committee for a congressman that I get to choose and help which ones get nominated to the academy. if I couldn't do enough, I know my co-partners over here, they keep beating me up, and they were beating me up before I got up here, though. So I have a unique principle that I never go to him with a problem. If something is wrong, I am going to go to him. I said, this is the problem, but I recommend A, B, or C. And then he says, he picks one, or I pick one, and I said, fine, can I execute? And I walk out the door. And then I come back and give him follow-up. I never leave him with just a problem. So I lost my mind 3 years ago, and I decided that I needed to have kids have an opportunity to more pathways, a direct pathway and a door to making money. Some teacher in my school sent me an email about this Amazon Future Engineer program. She sent it to me. I had not interested. It brought my interest, and I went to go get certified for an AP computer science principal class. The only requirement is you needed a math degree. I had that. They paid for it for me to go to it free. I went there. I come back. I complete it. I come to my principal, and I said, I want to teach AP computer science. He says, do you realize you're at a continuation school? I said, yeah. He let me do it. And so the end result is that we wind up having students actually take the AP course, actually take the AP exam, and pass the AP exam. So because of that, Amazon awarded me $30,000 and made me a Teacher of the Year here in May of this 2023. And as I speak here today, I got an email that was concerning our students and stuff. So I started with 3. But right now I have 17 students out of continuation school that will be taking the AP test this next year. So now I'm an ambassador. I just showed you that. I'm spreading the word. There was a problem with diversity inside the computer science classrooms. And so I wrote about that. Again, I thought I was dying. But the real thing I started everything with was to make math fun. When I leave here and go back to my school, 600 elementary kids are coming to our school. We set up a gym with all these games, and the kids come in and do station rotation to do the math. And so I got 600 elementary kids. That's making math fun. That's what I really like. So this was my life in a capture, from the drill field to the Marines to community service to advocacy, speaking with congressmen. But this is the real reason. See, both of these kids came to me with 0 credits in math. I mean, really, they had no in their skills. But what I did was test these students, and they were very low. The end result is that both of these students have passed. They actually graduated and got their high school diploma. So, but how did I do that? This is how I did it, and this is what happens with every student. And I please hope you pass it on. I'm not sure if everybody's seen this, but see this first pathway? I actually get a marker and I draw it out on the table for my students. I said, this is your pathway before you got here. And we start with kindergarten. I said, there was something in kindergarten that you didn't get. So we put a little hole there. And then you get to the 2nd grade, more holes. 3rd grade, 4th grade, everybody knows the picture, right? By the time they get to high school, then they get the chance to wake up. Because all of a sudden they go that first semester and they fail because they didn't know those concepts, and they get 0 credits, and then somebody believes in giving them math 1 and then going to math 2 and so on. The end result, they get frustrated by the time they come to see me. I sat down with them and I said, I'm not going to do the same stupid stuff. I said, I'm a doctor. We're going to go ahead and run some tests. We're going to figure out what's wrong. Then I'm going to prescribe a solution. I said, is that okay with you? I get buy-in. But how do I really keep them working is that I show them this one. So I want to know what you wonder about this. What do you see? Take a look at it. What do you see? You see potholes. Uh-oh. No, you keep a little bit there. What do you see? You see frames? You need lines? You see patterns? Can anybody see any circles? Take a look. Ooh, come on. Can you see circles? Oh. How many people can see the circles? Raise your hand. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute, the circles, really? There's circles up there. What? You still can't see the circles? Try harder. Try harder. Watch the circle. Now do you see the circles? How many circles can you see now? 16, 4 rows, 16 circles. You got it? You sure? All right, now close your eyes. Now open them back up again. Can you still see the circles? Oh, I bet you can't. I bet you can't let them go away. This is what I do for each and every one of my students. I get buy-in with them on those potholes, that they're a problem that exist. We agree that they need to work on it. But then I need intrinsic and extrinsic motivation for these students. And what I do is I show them this. And then I relate the analogy. See, learning math is just like this diagram. At first, when you looked at it, you didn't see anything. You didn't understand it. It wasn't even clear. Even though some of them around you, your peers, saw it, you didn't. But finally, someone showed you the circle, and now you see all of the circles. That is what we call productive struggle. And that is how I get those students to turn their lives around. Yeah. So with that, never stop learning. And I know I went a little bit over, but I just had to let it go. So I'm Dr. Smith. This is my story. You don't have it. That's all good. Thank you.
Give it up again for Dr. Smith. Dr. Smith.